Reverberate into the 2016 presidential election. Let's talk to Daniel Halper, online editor for the Weekly Standard. Thank you so much for talking to us. Daniel, you say the solution to immigration and its problem is simple. Secure the border, create a humane system of dealing with all the illegal immigrants. But by ignoring this first step and taking matters into his own hands with an executive order, isn't President Obama alienating many Americans' wishes?
Right. I think, like I said, I think the solution to immigration is rather simple. I think most people agree that the first step is securing the border. Even President Obama has bragged that the border is more secure now than it's been in a long time. A lot of people in his administration agree with that. A lot of Republicans want it to happen. But that's not what they're going to do. You know, it used to be that Congress passed laws and the president signed them into law. Now President Obama couldn't get his law through Congress, so he's trying to take matters into his own hands, and he's trying to just dictate the law or perhaps create these executive orders that will say what the law is. This is very dangerous territory. This is the very definition of an imperial presidency, and I think it has huge ramifications for the 2014 election, the 2016 election, and just how politics is done here in America today, and I think it could be very problematic.
All right, so then let's talk about the next step, what to do with the 5 to 6 million parents of dreamers who gave birth to American citizens.
Right. Well, Congress was going to do it. Some of the conservative groups said, why don't you just do it piecemeal? We can deal with these problems like DACA and all these other problems through piecemeal legislation. Obama and the Democrats said, no, it has to be comprehensive. It must be comprehensive. Without any comprehensive bill, we're not going to do anything. So that's why there's no political solution to these problems, even though they exist. The parents of the dreamers, the parents of, it's about 5 or 6 million people that he's talking about unilaterally granting what some are calling amnesty toward.
And on to the next issue, legal immigration. Do you allow for expanded work visas for thousands of guest workers?
You do legally. You don't do it the way he's suggesting, which is to unilaterally do it without the use of Congress. Again, these are issues that a lot of Congress might agree on, and they might pass laws, but they haven't done it. And so to do it around Congress, to go at it alone, sets a very dangerous precedent. As I suggested, this is the very definition of an imperial presidency, and that's, I think, could create mayhem. Look, I was talking on the way in here with somebody on Capitol Hill, and he suggested to me, he was working on a Saturday, so I feel bad for him, but he suggested to me that it could very well be that President Obama knows that he's not going to get any meaningful legislation passed in Congress by 2016. So he might be looking at his presidency totally different than all these other people, than the rest of Americans who think, well, maybe they'll get something if the Republicans win back the House in 2014.
As you know, Daniel, the president is expected to sign an executive order sometime after Labor Day. And basically it's expected to lead to fewer deportations by granting temporary legal status. But there are several civil rights groups out there. They have filed a lawsuit against the federal government over an immigration detention facility they say is designed to speed up deportations. What do business leaders want to see?
Business leaders want to see cheaper workers. They have their own interests, their own bottom lines. They want to allow a lot more workers so that the prices of wages goes down. They have their own interests at heart. I don't think that's what the American people want. I think Republican voters in particular are very jazzed up about immigration. They've said it's their #1 issue. I just saw in a recent poll. I don't think the Republican voters and big business are on the same page here. I think if Obama issues his executive orders as he's suggesting, I think Republicans would be better to pivot more toward representing middle America and average American workers and saying that we're not the party of big business, we're not the party of the Chamber of Commerce, we're the party of the American people.
Okay, but with everything going wrong in the world right now, and there is plenty, particularly in the Middle East, let's not even talk about the problems we have here on U.S. soil. If the president bombs Syria and he goes to war with ISIS, is it even plausible that he would make unilateral sweeping reforms to the immigration system?
That would be really gutsy, and I can't really see it happening. I think if the scenario that you laid out happens, if we really do go to war in Syria and in Iraq against ISIS, if we do mount a serious offense against the terrorists there, can't imagine him having much of a domestic agenda while those military actions are going into place. But we're not really sure what the scope of that mission might be, and that mission has not at all been defined or laid out by this administration.
Okay, so if Obama does act, how do you think Republicans can capitalize on this come election time?
again, they need to focus, they need to pivot and say, okay, the Democrats are the party of big business. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, that's the party of big business. We're going to be the party of the smaller, the average American person. And we're not going to just want to decrease the wages, and we're not going to want to make labor cheap just business can have a bigger profit. We want American workers who are out of work to get into the workforce and to get jobs and to help the American economy grow.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Daniel Halper, for talking to us about this one, and the debate continues. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
A mom catches her teenage daughter sexting.